This is Smithy.tv.
I brought my phone with. I figured that we should keep social networking alive and well while doing these shows.
Yes. Just for the people who watched our thing last time, I did survive.
Not promoting specific brands of phones, but I happen to use the product made by The Fruit.
The fruit? The apple?
Yes.
What I was going to try to say is I wasn't murdered, as we were talking about last time.
That is correct. You are here alive and well.
Yes.
Thank you for coming back.
Thank you for having me back.
I like the fact that you're available to come back instead of me having to send out people to search for you.
Yeah. The search party that you murdered.
That's right. So
that's basically to make him look innocent, I'd say. No, but I think we're a hit, or by a hit I mean my mom thinks we.
That's right. High five.
My mom thinks
high five.
We have good chemistry.
I've checked into Smithy.tv. We're in the studio.
And I've never actually checked into anything
Well, you don't use Foursquare, right? I like my phone. My wife thinks I'm a nutcase when it comes to all this stuff. She won't touch Facebook or Twitter or anything.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Don't touch it.
We have other, things to do, but I do use these toys and games, and it's fun because it not only do you get to check into place, you can become the mayor of some place, and it's sort of like it's not a competition, but it is a small competition amongst your friends and the people you follow. So I check into Smithy, and because I'm the mayor, I get 3 points as opposed to a regular check-in where I get 1 point.
Yeah.
Although I think you get 2 points if you check in while the mayor is there. So if you were to check into Smithy.tv on your smartphone using Foursquare, you would get 2 points.
But he's not saying you have to do this.
You don't have to do this.
In fact, he chose to do it.
I am not encouraging you to do anything.
He's discouraging you, if anything.
Well, look at me.
The mayor's discouraging you, this beloved mayor.
I ran for mayor.
Yeah, Ryan's told me this several times. He's ran for mayor.
I ran in 2006. I got 788 votes.
And that's 788.
I did not finish last.
Which is amazing.
That's amazing. Great. I was 26th out of 38 people running for mayor.
What was the 38th?
I beat 12 people.
With the 38th spot, how many vote did he or she?
I think they had a couple of dozen.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
I mean, it starts to decline quickly.
Yeah,
so it's the fact that I got, almost 800 votes, so close to even 1,000 votes. With no campaigning, no word, not even real word of mouth.
I think I'm running for mayor.
I went, my name's on the ballot, so they either went for he sounds like a nice Jewish boy. I'm gonna check off him. Maybe that's what I got the vote for. And of course my parents.
Well, and
my mother-in-law, who's not really allowed to vote because she's not really a Canadian.
Well, she voted anyway.
She voted anyway.
She's one of the 788. So I guess important issue.
Maybe that's why it's 787 on some registers.
Yeah.
Because the next few days it was 788.
She's
and then now if you look at it, it says 787.
But
of course it defeats the purpose of the production company I created, which is RG 788.
Yeah. Important thing from last week, we actually have a show title.
We have a show title. I think, did we even say it, or were we just joking around?
We were joking around. We said some of it,
Those guys, that show.
Hopefully the title has appeared a lot.
Not here. But previous to you watching the show, you'll see a box.
I was told our funds ran low, so when we actually were saying we had all these
we had funds?
we didn't actually have. Yeah, we did. We don't even have funds.
Yeah! What do we do? Like an Indiegogo campaign? I think we asked for $8.
But maybe today we actually have the title of the show right now, right here.
Nice.
If not, I'm just pointing at this.
You're pointing.
Right, like that. How are you doing today, Ryan?
I'm fine. It's been a pretty good day. I had a nice salad for lunch, so I feel, ready for dinner.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to be full for dinner because because it's a Friday. I know that when you're watching this, doesn't matter what day of the week, but it happens to be a Friday, and I have a nice dinner coming up.
They could be watching it so far in the future they may not even have weeks or days.
Yeah. I mean, you might be listening to this in the year of the diaper.
Yeah.
It might not be 2015.
Both might be gone, and they're like, this is a tribute video to us.
Or you're using this as historical documents for you in the future. That this show tells you what the world was like in the year of Smithy TV. Smithy TV sponsors this year, so there's no actual date.
If we were the biggest event in that year.
But the day of the week today is Thursday.
Thursday?
Thursday.
That's not too bad.
It's not too bad, right?
My favorite day is...
Well, you were born on Slorgswan.
Spoiler. My favorite day as a kid used to be Saturday.
Right.
But for some reason, I feel Thursday's the new cool day because you're getting close to the weekend, but at the same time, you know what I mean?
Well, the history of where these words come from, like Saturday, I think derives from Saturn.
Okay.
I think probably like Roman gods and stuff. But Thursday derives from Thor.
Thor? Okay.
Yeah, Norse god. So, and then of course the Romans did their own thing with it. But Thursday.
Do you know that more because you're a comic book fan and you like?
No, well, yes, but at the same time, I spend a lot of time reading random and ridiculous things.
Yeah.
Who's Thor, you may say, in the year of the Depends undergarment, but
doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter. Thank you for watching.
So we're also currently in an interesting time because there's an election coming up in the United States.
For mayor?
No. I think my days of mayor are done. I think I mean.
Says the people Thursday. I can't remember what you said.
Thursday?
Yes, on that planet Thursday.
No, Thursday's a day.
I know, but I made it a planet. I made it a planet.
And now it's a planet. We name our days after planets.
Yes, Planet Hollywood. No, go there. I'm promoting them for free. No one should go there. No, so very exciting time. It's the election.
The election in the United States. So
we're weeks away from having a new president or a continuing.
Well, he'll be the next president, regardless if it is the current president or a new person. So Barack Obama or Mitt Romney.
Yeah, and I feel like by now we all know the four players at hand. We got Obama and Biden on our one side, and who we got on the other side? We got
Mitt Romney,
Mr. Mitt,
and Paul Ryan.
I don't even like saying Mitt Romney. I just like saying Mitt because it's just like saying the guy's name's Mitt. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, but who doesn't like having a mitt? I have a mitt. I bought a mitt for my son.
We're in Canada, so who doesn't have a mitt?
My son has a mitt.
Glove
he doesn't
Romney.
know how to.
Yeah.
Glove Romney.
Who doesn't?
So, Glove Romney, the Republican candidate,
yes,
who cannot catch a ball like my 4-year-old.
We're going to get into some stuff today.
But he's got a great smile. My reference to Mitt Romney is a Vertigo comic called Transmetropolitan, where the journalist Spider Jerusalem is after the president and guy running for president. They call him the Smiler.
The Smiler.
Because he's that good looking. He's like charming. He's got this great smile.
Yeah.
And of course he's this big, huge douchebag, right?
That actually is very well summed up of
and
what we're talking about.
The characterizations between the two are perfect. I mean, I'm waiting for them to bring out the what is it's a gun that makes you poo yourself.
Yeah. And so Mitt's taking on the president right now, Obama.
He is. The debates have been pretty interesting. The first one, very dry, very boring on the Democratic side.
Yeah, I think, because he's very rusty, and apparently Mitt is a great public speaker, and he does it all the time, so he was obviously more...
And of course, this is also going to come down to what your own personal politics are. So take this in mind. We have our own personal opinions that may not reflect your personal opinions on these gentlemen.
Yes, so if you're planning to murder one of us, take Ryan first.
That's right. The person who is most likely voting...
To be fair, Ryan already tried to run for mayor. Take him first, so I have a chance to run for mayor at some point of a really small country. And they're like, "Who is this guy?" They're like, "He's the mayor."
He's the mayor.
Mayor Lindsay Lewis.
I like that.
Yeah.
Mayor. I like the sound of that. Mayor.
If you know what that is, if you don't know what that is, I don't know if we should be friends.
Twitter that in now.
Right down below.
Tweet to
His phone's right there. He's gonna check it.
At Smithy. TV Smithy, or at the Lindsay Lewis.
Let me ask you this: if we're watching, you and I were this has already been recorded. Can I enter in that contest?
Sure, you can watch. What's the prize going to be?
Your
fart smell? What?
Did you have? No, thank you. No, did you have a poster of your mayor campaign?
I have a framed picture of my face and a blurb amongst the other 38 candidates.
Could we give that away?
I will make a photocopy of it. It is an original print from the start.
Can we put it in a glass frame or something? Or
I think so.
If you really want it, frankly, you can.
I mean, the fact that you're, if you're really that interested in it, I'm just glad you're watching the show.
But no, back to the debate. Obama it seemed,
the second one was definitely a significant boost in the Democratic side.
I want to say I watched the second debate, but I didn't because the night before I went on 17 minutes of sleep, and legit this is how much of the second debate I saw. I was really excited for it too, but I was so tired. So I'm like laying down, and they're like, the debate's coming up. And that was it. And then I woke up and at the end and just like, and they're just walking towards guys and
shaking hands. It's like, thank you for coming. It was a strange room.
The second debate is always because it's that, what's the room? It's like they use a certain term, but it's like, it's like
but the crowd in it was very, very interesting. And they had their ethnic diversity in the room asking questions, and that's great because they were trying to represent everybody, whether it's the Latino vote or the black vote or the white vote or the Jewish vote. It doesn't matter what the difference are. It was they were well-rounded, but very limiting. And it's like sort of like it was like no one knew where to look.
Yeah,
and it was sort of a dead audience.
It's weird when you don't have the desk because like they're just standing. They just sit there and I'm gonna go. It's like my sales pitch time. It's almost too much. I don't like that.
I did like the arbitrator, like the woman who I think she's a CNN reporter.
I believe so.
If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. You were very good. So it's not a knock at all. In fact, I like the fact that many times she put them in their place, saying, "It's your turn to stop. Go down, it's now the president's turn," or "Stop, it's now the governor's turn." And she was very good at delegating the times. And yes, they still said, "Well, hold on, I want to finish this point." And they of course gave the 1 or 2 minute leeways, and then it cut. And of course, people then recorded afterward. They recorded how much time the president got over how much time the governor got, and it's fine. You can debate that all you want. Of course, Republicans will cry foul that the president got 2 more minutes than that's not fair. Well, you know what? They're both schmucks when it comes to that. I mean, it's like they had to take the chances they got.
Yes.
And not answer the questions that were asked them.
Yeah. You find a way to just say the word that was asked, and then find a way to just say, "Hey, 47%."
That's right. He brought it up.
What it takes,
which was interesting. He brought up the president brought up the 47% that Romney brought up.
Yeah.
But the fact is, it's like it was a lot of talk around. It always is.
Yeah.
They don't ask the right questions, I don't think. They really need to get the right questions, and you need
and that's what makes it hard. But
all you can say is economy. It's going to fix the economy. It's going to screw the economy. It's going to be,
It's easy to say stuff, but it's like when there's a record, but just like it's easy to attack a record of like Obama, like from the Republican Party, but it's like some of the promises you're making sound too good to be true, and that's where it's kind of like you're like there has to be stop attacking their plan to tell us what you're gonna do.
That's right,
and that's where it's like it gets.
The problem is, in order to win, all they can do is attack what the other person didn't do.
Absolutely, I get
in order to say, I'm just going to do it better, or I'm going to do it at all, or
shame on them for not trying.
And of course, they all the real detail is in the newspapers the next day.
Yeah.
What isn't there, and the people who aren't really paying enough attention are, of course, it's the actual. You go in and you're like, I need an answer. What is your economic plan? Like, what are the numbers? But the people watching these debates, they come out of it, and that's their opinion. That's their opinion for the rest of the election. They don't go further.
Fact check, yeah.
They don't fact check. They go by who they like better. You know what? Obama had too many grays in his hair. He didn't color it out enough. So he's showing his age.
Wasn't
Romney,
fresh that
even
night,
though he might even be older, and he just had that fresher look. Or in vice versa, he says, well, you know what? He looks too, like white bread and talking. And I really like the feel and vibe that the president is giving, and that's who I'm really going to go vote for. That's all it is. It's like you're either born a Republican or you're born a Democrat. There's very few swing people in the United States of America.
I do believe there's a 20% ratio between no matter what that are willing to change or undecided. But otherwise, there's just like that percentage.
I grew up with a lot of friends who were raised in the U.S. and that's what they are. They're not changing sides.
Yeah.
They are Republicans and they are Democrats, and that's who they're voting for.
Certain ways of life work for people, and so it's just like, why rock the boat when they feel it's right, But the thing I did kind of disagree with you on the debates is I kind of like when they're like, you know what, I'm going to say my point. Like, as long as they're saying something, I don't mind them going over the time because it's saying...
Well, I don't have an issue with it. I just happen to like the fact that as an arbitrator, she was still getting them to really stop when they could have gone on forever. Because, of course, that's what they want to do. They want to have more FaceTime in front of the cameras. Of course, they're always in the background. That was the neat thing about the camera shots, is that even when they're speaking, Romney or Barack Obama were
Yeah.
always
Just,
in the
like,
shot, just,
bored,
or
That's why I love the sitting back and it's like, oh, it's my turn. It's my turn. And it's like,
but they're starting to get
sir.
up even before it's their turn, and then it's like, it's my turn now.
I got this. Let me take this.
I'm gonna kick your ass or have you killed in the back room.
And they have good energy, but what I really want to talk about, I've been so excited to, is the MVP of this whole thing is, I like to call him Uncle Joe. Joe Biden.
Yeah.
The thing about debates is the hype around him before it's like a boxing match, you get excited, but then they're kind of like, When I watched him, like 90 minutes, there's only one VP debate, but he made it. He was having fun. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and you have to bring that kind of energy, like, because Ryan is so. He's so.
I have strong reviews for Paul Ryan, but no.
Remember the line? If he shoved a piece of coal up his ass in 2 weeks, he'd have a diamond.
Yeah.
That's Ryan.
Paul Ryan. This is not an endorsement, by the way, of Paul Ryan. No, but Joe Biden was.
It's like Superman when he like just crushes it and turns into a diamond.
I feel like
That's after
Kryptonite.
the bad kryptonite that turned him into an asshole.
Kryptonite would be the friend of Paul Ryan. I think that's probably his best friend. He's destroyed someone.
Lex Luthor with hair.
Yeah. And Lex Luthor were working at the gym. Did you see all those clips or pictures of him going, "Yeah, I work out." You know,
I use a 3.5 pound arm.
And then I think there's probably times where they go like, "You're running for vice president, not for a marathon." You know, but Joe, Uncle Joe was like he was just having so much fun, but he was backing stuff up.
Yeah.
And like, I loved when he was just like, my friend here, just like, I love that stuff, because he said it with a smile, and you're like, we're clearly not friends, but just like, I loved every time he called Mr. Ryan my friend.
That's
there,
great.
You know?
Yeah.
And just like, but yeah, the thing about Paul Ryan, though, that I've said is like, he looks like a guy you wouldn't be so surprised had a sex addiction, you know?
Not being a sex offender, but someone who's just addicted to sex.
Yeah, he's just like
he needs it all the time.
Yeah, every day and night, and he's just like, I love this.
I have gone to SA, Sexaholics Anonymous, because, and it's hard to be in that room because it's pretty much an orgy, because everyone there has sex problems.
Yeah, so like, people are like, why does he look familiar? You're like, you're a sex addict.
You're a sex addict.
If you
I know you because I've slept with you.
Yeah. So his supporters are the people who don't want to be.
So you actually
caught
have
as
to
sex
hope that
addicts.
his wife is like
and
good to go.
He kind of also, he looks
Maybe
like
she is. And then it's not a problem because it's always consensual and it's always with the right person.
during the election
It's just all the time.
During the election campaign,
She's
like
a beast.
The Republicans are like, please just have sex with him, because he's like, he will go elsewhere. We need to keep it
in the
press,
house.
out of the
so
press.
basically, just if you need a break, just take a glass
Get
of
to
water.
November 10th, you can do whatever you want, but we just need him to be on track to potentially win. But no, he looks like Eddie Munster, you know, that guy, like, or Pee Wee Herman's like weird brother, you know, or like fit brother. Who's
I just got an interesting text. I have a mouse issue at home. And my wife has just told me that there is a desperation to the amount of food my mouse is getting because it has caused him to eat into the juice boxes that we keep for our children in the cabinet, and there is now a large apple juice mess.
Do you know what's funny about that? Paul Ryan probably did that.
Yes, he did.
Like live, he's somehow watching our program. Thank you, Paul.
If you are pro-life in regards to animal life, including all shapes and sizes, please know that at my household, there is a large machine called the Rat Zapper that is currently in use destroying mice. And that's that.
And speaking of like,
but I like dogs.
And speaking of pro-life and all that, one of the issues was abortion.
Of course, and whether there's going to be legislation about
it.
And
it was a moment like, it's like, I'm glad they asked, but it's like, wow, it's like just the difference between the answers, like whether you agree, like whether you like Joe Biden or not, you're like, at least that was a safe answer. Paul Ryan, it's like I almost bet, I don't even know if he knew it was coming, that question, so he just said what he said, but it's like, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It's just like that can't be someone who can be running the country like with those views. It's just like, that's just like, I'm not saying like, I'm pushing my views on anybody, but it's like to put your views on someone else saying this is what's legal and what's not, right. To whether it comes to a life when certain circumstances are a reason why people might have a baby, it was disheartening. It was like,
the biggest problem, serious. No, it's true, but the biggest problem of any election, of course, is the country is basically 50-50.
Yes.
No one wins by
not a
75%.
Yeah.
No one wins by 75%.
Maybe more.
So it becomes 55-45, or it becomes 60-40. But that's pretty much the extent of the split, because the rest is they stay Republican, they stay Democrat.
Yeah.
But once you're elected, no matter what you're bipartisan, because you now represent the entirety of the country.
Yes, absolutely.
So you have to protect everyone and everyone's causes and everyone's viewpoints, no matter what your personal viewpoint is. Just because you go in pro-life, there are still half of your people that don't think that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you are not speaking for them. And that can't, I mean, that specific, line to go in on in an election.
It was just...
That's not what's going to fix your country. It isn't.
It's
the economics, it's the wars, it's the money.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not whose right it is to get married or have babies.
Yeah.
And what to do with them.
I get like people with views like that, but I don't think that should be the top of their campaign.
That's right.
You know, and just like, but the funny thing about the debate, I remember someone like tweeting this or like seeing a post where they go like, and now on to another war. It's like, that was such a sad state of affairs that was actually said. You're like, and now on to the next war. You're like, oh my God, this is. Again,
but it's true.
Yeah. It just.
So speaking of war, no.
Yeah. It's like, so speaking of the next war, let's go to like war number. Yeah, but it's just like Paul Ryan. I actually heard that like there was some like maybe some backlash afterwards because the comment, like the way he put it, because his views apparently like months before, like before he was on the ticket, were not exactly what he said. You know, like he was apparently more like.
But neither of them are. I mean, they have to change their views in order to represent the party.
Yes.
Because there are party lines, and they represent that. And then on top of that, I mean, like, because they have a plan, and that plan has to be put in place.
Yes.
In order to win, and in order to stay in power.
Yeah.
So whatever your viewpoints are, you now represent the entirety of the party, not your own. Mm-hmm. You aren't the leader. You are the face.
Yes, they're the ticket. You know,
That's
it's
right.
the two-man ticket. But would you admit that? Like, did you watch the vice president debate?
No, I didn't.
Joe was
clips.
Did the clips of it you saw? Did you watch like a bunch of the Joe clips, like Joe Biden? Like he was having, it was just so much fun. Like I was like legitimately, like I've never seen a debate feel so fast for 90 minutes because it was rapid pace and Paul Ryan did have good moments, except for it was more creepy when he looked in the camera because you're like I feel like he's
looking at you.
Yeah.
To have sex with next.
Whereas Joe, like he's looking at you, but he's talking to more than just one person.
Yeah, when he looks at the camera, he's looking at everybody.
Yeah.
When Paul Ryan's looking at you, he's looking at you.
And he's like, you know, that's the face he looked. He works out in front of a mirror and doing that exact same thing.
I understand because I too have a sex addiction, and
who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard when it's mostly yourself. Anyway.
It depends on the crowd watching right now. If you're PG, we apologize. If you're over that, thanks for staying with us. We're glad to feed you stuff. But no, it was just like it was just exciting seeing like he did answer stuff, and I'm sure like some of the stuff weren't like spot on the truth, but he was having fun and just like he was smiling and he's just like malarkey or like malarkey. The fact that he threw that down in 3 minutes of the start of it, you're like, this is gonna be a good time. You know what I mean? Like because I think I missed the intros and like I was like,
he really is the person who knows what the hell's going on.
Yeah, it's like, you know, and he has just like, and he's just gonna tell it like it is.
I mean, these are guys who at any point have to step up, right? I mean, like there could be in any chance, and obviously you don't wish to harm anybody, but
the thing
they
is,
are
with the
Romney
and Ryan ticket, you have fear that the person that's going to kill Romney is Paul Ryan from his sex addiction because he's like,
Tea Party.
Yeah. So just like these are the faces of the. It's exciting, you know, but just like it was so rapid fire, and just the fact that he threw that down in 3 minutes, he was like laying back and he's just like having a good time. He's like, my friend here, like just waiting and just like.
I like your description better than having to have watched the debates themselves.
The presidential ones, like I'm curious to see the final one coming up. Like it's in a few days, but the VP one, with the reviews that the Democrats were getting from presidents, the first one in the debate, Joe gave them, I think, what they needed to say, okay, you know what I mean, like, get them back on track. Because debates, it's hard to decide who won, you know what I mean? Because, like, the Republicans are going to say they won, Democrats are going to say that, the news are going to say a certain thing. You're really only going to get a ratio of people who will judge it fairly, with fact checks and all that. So just, like, but for a debate, I think Joe just brought, like, this energy that was needed, I think, you know what I mean? Because, like, at the end of the day, I don't think a debate can change a lot of people. It can just, like, you know what I mean? It's just, like, it's become something different, I think. But it's like, but
Yeah.
it's just like, but Joe made it. He just made it a night that I was like, I was having fun watching it, you know, and like you can't always say that. And he was having fun with it, and you believe that what he was saying meant something to him.
Yeah.
And it was just, it was a lot of fun. And I would like, I almost wanted Joe to be like, you know what, Obama, sit this one out. I got this one. No, it's just like,
Because he probably would put Romney in his place in like 8 minutes flat. Like just the 90 minutes would have been done in 8.
yeah, it's just like,
And he would have like made a 6-minute statement. Romney would have gone, and that would have been the end. The end. Shake hands.
yeah, it's just like, or he.
And now Obama do a dance routine.
Yeah, but the thing you get most of that is like Joe Biden's teeth are so white. His smile was like just pearly white. And he was so happy, and just like it was a night to remember. It was a night to remember. That's so. I hope he can maybe
Continue on for the next 4 years.
Yes, just even
We know where his vote is.
Yeah.
We'll be right back after this. You're watching Those Guys This Show on Smithy.tv.
Apparently, we're going to commercial,
We are going to commercial. And we're back.
and we're back. Felt like forever. since
Found
we've been back.
like minutes or hours. Maybe it was 30 seconds. Maybe there was no time.
It's a spooky month. We're in October.
It is October. You know what
Yeah.
that means?
What does it mean, Ryan?
Hallows Eve.
Halloween.
Halloween.
With all this hocus pocus.
You
going on.
know, ooh, pumpkins.
We should have an image
We
of
should,
a pumpkin right there.
Or
We
just
should have brought
the
in a
motion
pumpkin.
of a pumpkin.
How much is a pumpkin? You couldn't go buy a pumpkin? You knew I was coming.
I actually have a very large pumpkin on my dining room table right now. It's 27 pounds.
Well, how much did it cost?
$9.50.
That's really good. 27 pounds?
They gave me a 2-pound reduction to 25. Charged $9.50.
That's awesome.
It's enormous. You know how heavy that thing is?
27 pounds.
27 pounds. But soon it will be less because I'll
Yeah.
gut it and I'll
Yeah.
get the seeds out.
Do you already have the image you want to do? Are you letting your kids decide, or like?
Well, if they decide, it
Actually,
should be
don't-
awful.
yeah.
That's not true.
A square
it
dad.
will be very cute and look like a 4 and a 2-year-old did it. But
Nothing wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that. Maybe they'll have their own. They'll draw on it. It'll be great and good times. And I'm really speaking really meanly about 2 children.
Your children?
My children.
I didn't. Just
We'll get this. Do you like baked pumpkin seeds with salt on it?
not really.
Oh, it's my favorite snack of the year. It's so good.
I was recently talking to people about food, and I didn't realize there was gonna be such a backlash. I said it in like mint chocolate, dark chocolate, and grilled cheese, and people were offended by this. Almost like I feel like I've lost friends. Like since we're talking about
You've
food.
lost. Well,
Not lost friends, but just like they felt like a lack of respect. They just did like it wasn't. Our friendship will never be the same now that they know that I don't like grilled cheese, especially the grilled cheese factory.
Oh yeah, I saw that on Twitter, and
Yeah.
Mills was popping in on that conversation too.
Yeah, it's
That's
like,
not a good thing if you don't like grilled cheese. Is it because of the cheese or the grilling?
It's just gross.
Is it the greasiness?
I think it's the greasiness.
Maybe
and also,
you've
like,
never
I'm not a big
no one's
cheese-
ever made like
I
a
love
proper,
pizza, but I don't like cheese that much. Like it's a really.
Well, if you
weird
don't like
thing.
cheese, then there's no point in eating a grilled cheese.
Exactly, and that's basically where the dilemma is. And also, I don't like those craft strips. Like a lot of people use.
Oh, like craft singles,
And
like, yeah, yeah.
like I find most of the cheese people using it. So maybe like someone was saying like put like pickles or like put bacon in it and it tastes better. And
Like bacon in anything.
Yeah, bacon can win this election.
Yeah,
we need
bacon will win this election. You hear that, Mid-America?
Bacon and a Biden, perfect ticket.
Bacon and Biden. That is the...
BB's gonna win this.
BB's going to win this. Bacon and Biden.
Yeah, but no, yeah. So like, because you were talking about like, but the pumpkin seeds, it tastes good.
So good. So it's like, it's like you throw them in the oven. It's like, and they cook them right to the point where they're crispy.
Yeah.
And then they're the perfect snack. They're light. They're
Yeah.
not a lot of calories or whatever. Not that I'm really counting, although I should.
It's seasonal.
It's seasonal and it's healthy because it's just pumpkin seeds.
Yeah.
And then, of course, if you make things with pumpkin, like pumpkin pie and stuff like that, then you've got the innards to do that.
Yeah.
I don't. I
Yeah.
throw that into the green bin and that goes off. Maybe I should keep it around for the mouse to eat.
Don't take her apple juice. You take the
Don't eat
pumpkin
my
stuff.
apple juice. I got it. Oh, apparently, there's a huge anyhow.
We'll let you know next time how it
next
turned
time how it turned out. As
We'll
my
have it
cupboard is
maybe-
cleaned out of rat shit.
We might bring in the rat as a guest because Ryan.
It'll be in a little baggie.
Yeah.
Maybe there will be 4.
Yeah.
I'll keep it out for a few days to see how many we catch.
I'm kind of rooting for them. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry that you are too.
I'm rooting for the.
I have a Lindsay-sized rat trap right outside of this room, and I'll let him go. But they're humane.
Yes. Yes.
So Halloween. Speaking of killing,
Yes. We're killing it right now.
we're killing. Movies, horror movies. This
Yes.
is also, of course, the time for the best horror movies to get rerun on television
Yeah,
or out in theaters.
If I had TV and watched TBS, I'm sure I'd be watching.
I saw the trailer for Sinister. That looks frightening.
I saw Sinister. I don't want to spoil too much, just because. But I'd say if you start to watch some of it, you know where it's going. And the trailer showed a lot of the scary parts in it. I do like Ethan Hawke a lot. I feel like
the trailer shows the scary parts. That's not good if it's on television.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't watch TV. I watch it like in the theaters.
No, I know, but I mean, like if you're watching a commercial on television and they can show you the scary parts,
signs are like,
and seeing it in the theater is not going to be scary at all.
But they showed the moment of like the scare,
like of where it's happening. So it's like as soon as you see that and you see the face, you know where the scary part's happening.
But Ethan Hawke, I think, like opposite a bit, but it's the ending, like you know where it's going, and it just like it was like It's an okay movie. It wasn't the best. I don't foresee myself wanting to watch it again.
Fair enough. It was a one-time deal. You got it. It was cute. You had your good time.
But I can see people being scared by it, and like some people appreciate it. But I also get the people who don't like it.
Right.
But yeah, so that's Sinister.
Good.
So with Halloween and all that, we're talking about movies. Is there a movie growing up as a kid that just scared you, or a movie that you didn't scare you, you just thought was just awful?
Well, I have multiple events of scary movies and what scared me at what points and for what reasons.
Yeah.
My first experience of any horror was The Exorcist.
Okay, I've never seen it, actually.
I was 5.
What?
No 5-year-old should be put through that. But
your kid's 4 right now. So
yeah,
are you gonna try it?
I might let my uncle do it. He's the one who did it. I was homesick. I had the chicken pox, and my cousin was babysitting me the night of my uncle's wedding. So it was, and it was obviously the winter time because the Leaf game was on, and I'm like, I want to watch the Leaf game. I was like, I can't watch this movie. I can't watch it. Put on the Leaf game. Turn off this movie. Because The Exorcist is on TV, and my cousin is like, he's older than me. He's like, click, 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 and I'm 5 years old. Turn off The Exorcist. Put on the Leaf game.
I'll watch anything right now other than this.
Put on porn. I don't even know what it is.
Mitt Romney's, Paul Ryan's there. I messed my joke up. Damn. No.
So that was my first event of seeing a horror movie and experiencing the fear of it.
Yeah.
But it has actually, that in particular has since become one of my favorites, of course. Yes. It is a spectacular storytelling.
You've grown to appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate it as a movie too. I mean, not just for the horror, although it is very scary.
Yeah.
But I also have a fear of clowns, and it is not about it's like one of those things that I'm just not comfortable.
Scary, or is it more creepy?
It's totally creepy.
Yeah, it's just.
But I'm just not comfortable around them. And there's a movie called Ghoulies.
Okay.
And I was 8 or 9 probably when it was in the theaters.
You could probably watch it now and be scared if it's clowns.
But the rating system in Canada at the time, in the same way in the US at the time, the rating system went PG, AA for adult accompaniment, and then R. Well, in Canada, those 3 things mean, parental guidance, so anyone can go. AA, adult accompaniment, meaning anyone over 14 can go, but anyone under 14 can go too, as long as your parent was with them, and as long as your parent
was with them. Yeah.
No, well, that's true.
Drop you off, and you're like, see you later. Here's some
and then, of course, there's R, which means that 18 and over only. And of course, in the U.S., R-rated was AA.
Yeah.
If it's an R movie, a parent can take you in. It's X that you can't go in if it's 18 and over. Those have changed. But it was a horror movie called Ghoulies about these creatures, and those weren't the scary part. But there's a scene in it. This is almost 30 years old. I really don't think it's a spoiler by saying.
I think they're more about like there's a movie called Ghoulies.
Yeah, there's a movie called Ghoulies, where there's a doll clown on a rocking chair.
Yeah.
And the window's open and it's just like
cracking,
And that was, okay, it's fine, I can get over it. Then of course, you have one of the guys, he's going through the house and he opens the door of this cupboard and this doll thing jumps out at them and I'm like, I'm done, I'm out of it, I'm done. I got up and because it turns back to the chair and the clown is gone from the chair and it got out of the closet. Of course, that means that it's a gay clown that was out of the closet. Tough crowd. No respect at all.
I give no respect.
When I was a baby, I was breastfed by my mother.
He found Jim Carrey, right? Rodney Dangerfield.
He found him?
He was the one who kind of
discovered him?
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's what I've heard. Check it in. Tweet us if you can. Continue.
My father was his agent, so I don't know.
Jim Carrey?
Yes, Jim Carrey. Not Rodney Dangerfield. That would be awesome too.
That both are cool.
So that was that experience. There was horrific horrific scenes in the movie, killing scenes, that never bugged me. Just things with clowns.
Which is funny because one of the ways that one of the movies that scared me growing up, I think we started watch. It was called It.
Yeah, Stephen King.
Stephen King.
That's
it's
a
TV
great
movie.
book. Yeah.
I've never read it, but like it was a TV. It was like a.
Yeah, maybe Tim Curry played the clown, Pennywise. Yeah,
Pennywise. And so I remember the first time we watched it.
I was over clowns by then.
Yeah, you're like.
I still don't like him, but but he's worth knowing. It's Tim Curry in the costume puts aside my fear of clown.
I saw it like before you're like, hey, it's Tim Curry. But we started we were at a babysitter's, we're in a basement watching it. I think there was 7 or 8 of us.
Yeah.
And like I was like, everyone's like, oh, you'll probably get scared and all that. And like, it was a scary movie, but it was funny to see, like, my sister was one of them too, and like a bunch of people. And it was funny to just gradually see as we went on, some people had excuses to leave. And like, oh, I just had to go upstairs. And by the end of it, out of 8 people, there was me and one other person. I was the person, they're like, he's going to leave. I stayed, watched the whole thing. There was 2 of us watching. You're like, not all of us have to just go upstairs. There's nothing happening upstairs. You're just scared. But it was a very scary movie. I remember that night being like really freaked out. But
until the awful spider at the end.
Yeah. You're like, I'm suddenly not scared. I'm in fact laughing. No, but I remember like watching it years later and going, this not scary much, not that scary, but it's still kind of fun to watch it as a memory, and Tim Curry is just awesome.
Yes.
If you get a chance to see him in another sort of movie, I watch it Halloween, but it's not fully a Halloween movie. It's called Clue.
Yeah.
The movie he's
just in general for Tim Curry. I mean, yeah, Clue's great.
If you get a chance to watch
available on Netflix.
It is actually on Netflix.
It is.
But although I don't think they have the 3 endings, which is the way you should see it. But he's so good in that movie, Clue, like Tim Curry. Like,
if it doesn't have the 3 endings, I'm sure it does.
I don't think on Netflix it does. But if you get a chance to get the DVD or whatever, it has them. But they release it in theaters. You don't only get one of the endings, but that was a cool thing. You didn't know which one. But now on the DVD, you get them all, and they're all really funny. But no, like in a movie that Christopher Lloyd's in it, and he's not even the best part. That says how good like Tim Curry's in that. But so it was one of the first ones I saw.
Okay.
Another scary one. Did you ever hear the movie The Witches?
The Witches, yes.
Angelica Houston?
Yep.
So watching that, like as a kid,
is that supposed to be scary?
It's kid scary.
Yeah, I don't remember that supposed to be scary.
But like, there's a certain scene where one of the witches, not Angelica Houston, she's looking at this kid who's in like a treehouse that's not that high,
right.
And she's offering him chocolate, and there's a glow in her look, and like that face still haunts me till today. But like other kids, like know when I talk to them, they go, I know what you're talking about. She offers the chocolate, her eyes glow, and then out of nowhere she has like a snake on her, and like she's looking up, and like the shot's down. It's just like
she's the same character on Smash.
The singing show?
Yeah, the singing show.
Yeah, I predicted that show.
Apparently he doesn't want... No, it's a good show.
I think they almost canceled it, but then they didn't.
I like it.
Yeah, no, but it was really scary, and then I found this out years later. My sister told me this. She would rent it all the time just so it would scare me.
That's funny.
She told me
she
that...
She knew it scared you.
Yeah, because she knows I don't like cheese, and apparently that movie scared me too. And she would rent it nonstop to scare me. Like I would never...
I understand the siblings do that. My sister and
I never did that to her.
I have 2 older sisters, and the middle sister and I would put knives in between our fingers and pretend to be Freddy Krueger.
Or Wolverine.
Yeah, but my sister wasn't afraid of Wolverine. Yeah. She was afraid of Freddy Krueger.
I'm just scared of knives, to be fair.
So we would just walk up to her in the room and go, "Yay!" with these knives, and like Freddy Krueger, and she would like scream and like try to close the door on us. So we went out of our way and bought a poster of Freddy, and woke her up by holding it over her. Like so, she's like,
did she get like?
I'm amazed she talks to us to this day.
Kids are cruel.
We're cruel, and we were young. I mean, like, think about how long ago Nightmare on Elm Street came out. I can't remember. It was a long time ago.
So we're talking about movies. What is there a movie you can think of that's just an awful Halloween or scary movie?
Just a bad scary movie?
Yeah.
Meant to be scary but is bad, or just
like Vampire in Brooklyn bad, like
I mean, like there's
I love Eddie Murphy, and I tried to
kind of
justify
like the
bad.
like kind of like best worst movies.
Yeah, kind of,
I mean I know that Troll 2 I think is considered the best worst movie, but that's already entitled up. But I mean, like you're talking like movies like Dead Heat with like Joe Piscopo and Treat Williams, and it had like Vincent Price in it. That was a good one, although that was like sort of like. You like watching the cheesiness of it, so it became such a good movie. That was a fun one for me. I mean, I can't think of many. I mean, like so many. I do like horror movies. I like being scared, but I also live in a house that doesn't appreciate the same kind of thing. So
it's just like this one guy.
My scariness is being forced to watch Caillou every morning now.
That's scary.
Yeah, it's scary. And what's worse is my 2-year-old who can't speak only has a few words, and one of them
It's Kai.
is Caillou. Well, she says Dayu, but I know what she's saying.
And the second you hear that, you're like, oh! It's like when you see Freddy Krueger. That's your Freddy Krueger.
How I wake up. Like my eyes.
Yeah,
open.
that's your revenge for.
I wake up in the morning and it's on. She's sitting in the bed next to us with her milk.
Is she on it like just like?
No, she's like,
Yeah, Dayu.
Dayu, that's me.
And you're like, I love you. You're scaring me right now.
And then that's my cue to get up and get ready for the day, so
Yeah.
that I can let them watch it, and breakfast is ready by the time I'm done. Yeah.
You should like try to get Caillou.
So what about you? So I mean, horror movies or anything modern or current that stands out for you, or
The thing for me is I like the whodunit. Like I was a big
like
fan
Scooby Doo style.
That was cool. Like that's like.
So like I Know What You Did Last Summer. So like there's a slasher movie, but then you have to figure out really who the killer is.
Yeah, no, and I actually the few movies I watched, like I was saying, Clue, but the I Know What You Did Last Summer series, the two of them, not the third one.
Scream.
And Scream, like that's one of just like. I like it's a fun movie.
They really are just horrific Scooby Doos.
Yeah, no, but they have like cool characters, and also there is that element of like.
I actually think it's a compliment to call them that. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, those were shows that I appreciated.
Old Man Marley did it.
And it's like, I can't believe it. I would have gotten away with it. It was one for you and that dog too.
Those pesky kids and Caillou.
And Caillou.
2012 version of Scooby-Doo. Scrappy Doo's back with Caillou. What is Caillou? Like, what does he look like? Or
Caillou looks like, and please don't be offended by this because it's purely a visual.
Uh-oh.
I
feel like you're already gonna regret what you're
I don't regret it because I know what I think he looks like.
Yeah.
He's the whiniest 4-year-old child on the planet, but he has no hair, so he yeah. He's a bald 4-year-old kid, so I am not offending anyone. I'm just saying what he is. He's a whiny, bald 4-year-old kid.
Yeah. Caillou.
No,
yeah, like this thing with Scream and that, like the fisherman in that, like has a look, but in Scream, like the mask is just like it's cool that they had like a mask that is somewhat scary, but in that movie, it brings it to a new level when you see that mask. You know?
Yep.
Just like and like they do the unveiling and like there's funny stuff and it's.
What I find interesting is that those movies are meant for adults, even or teens.
Yeah.
But that costume is available in children, like in like.
Oh, it's outside Halloween costumes.
It's like
Scream mask right
next
there.
to Wolverine and Iron Man and Scooby-Doo, and the fairy costume is the Scream mask, and you're like, my kid is not going to wear that. I'm not going to put that on him.
Yeah, but the kid might not even know what it's for.
But it doesn't matter.
You do, and it's
the context is not right.
Yeah.
To be put in that position. I mean, those are things that should be sold in adult costume stores, and of course, I mean, Halloween is for everybody because it is, but the night ends when kids go to bed.
They can't vote. They shouldn't. Yeah.
And 14-year-old children should not be trick-or-treating.
Yeah, they're not children at this point.
No. When you're taller than your mother, at that point, it's done.
Yeah, it's kind of like there's a point where it's like there's that year that you should stop. Usually, kids do 2 years more.
Yeah.
Then it's like if you go 2 more after that, you're like, okay, this is getting up to be a problem.
That is not to put into the place that one day you may never be taller than your mother. And I apologize for that description, but you get the context.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest, I wasn't listening. When
he doesn't listen to me anyway. I don't even know why we have these conversations.
We're having 2 conversations that occasionally link up.
That's right, and then we fit it together with little things at the bottom here.
Yeah, that's not here. Actually.
But if you have the mouse over this screen right now, there are things in the way of us doing this.
Yes.
So if I actually point over here, that's for Facebook, and over here is for Twitter. Over here's for
I have the face. I do one at a time. So it's only.
No, I know, but all of the different possible sharing links are right here.
I just type them in the site, and then I don't have them on the side or anything like that.
No, but it's the player, right?
Yeah.
So it's the player, not the game.
Yeah. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
That's right.
Paul Ryan. No, okay, he didn't say that. He should not. He's still doing this. Looking at you. It's Paul Ryan. What do you think Paul Ryan's favorite scary movie is? Probably like,
I don't know, like it's probably a TV show, like 18 and counting. What is it?
I don't even want to answer that. It's like I feel like we're about to go into territory that only Paul Ryan should go, or shouldn't even go. Actually, he's getting ripped on here, and like the worst part is we would have you as a guest.
We would absolutely have you on a guest too.
And we
talk
would
about your policies.
We would debate your sex addiction that you don't have.
Or do have, and they're open about it. I am a sex addict, but it's with my wife.
Yeah.
And therefore, it's not a problem because it's consensual.
And again, I'll remind you every time that we have this conversation, I am not married. Tell you're attractive, funny, and very kind. The heart is a big issue, but tell your friends I'm single.
Single. Taken, sorry. I know.
And Paul Ryan's taken, but he's single. You know what I'm saying?
I do. Paul, call.
Was there ever a costume you dressed up in that you were excited about, or one you felt embarrassed about years later? Because I
will tell you the embarrassing one. I used to have
a rat tail, so like there's nothing worse than that. You know?
Well, that was your costume, right?
No, that was
year round.
The worst part is it was a 2-week thing. I had like a rat tail. I was like, and now there's things.
It takes longer than 2 weeks to grow that thing.
Yeah, no, but like but it's just like you're like nothing but shame now in the thought of it. But yeah, you said you had the.
I had an awful sort of awful mask, but I mean this is at the point where I now know that trick-or-treating at 14, 15, 16 years old is bad. So all you do is I'm going to wear black. I'm going to wear a turtleneck and black pants and black shoes and gloves and this green mask and trick-or-treat, because really I'm one of those kids where the parents are like, fine.
It's at that point they're like, it's almost 9.
It's like, it's got to be done by now. I'll turn out the lights and people are still coming to our door, and it's the older kids that should be trick-or-treating. They should be out with their friends at a party and drinking underage.
They want the
Not that I'm encouraging underage drinking, but still.
Underage?
Hey, calm down there. Don't treat me like an old man.
This show is brought to you by Undergrage.
Undergrage.
It's a cologne.
I use
All Ryan uses, yeah. It smells like sweat.
Feels like sweat.
We got nothing. I remember dressing up as ET, and like now I just occasionally I have the scream mask. I'll put that on just to. Yeah. Some people still get scared by it, but it's just
Yeah, but if you went to the door, I bet people would just think you're trick or treating.
Yeah, right.
As long as you shave right before you go out, you're good.
This boy here is here. He's like, give him a copy of The Witches. Kids love that. No.
So Movember's out for you then, right?
People tell me to do it, but it's like I don't know if I can, because as long as you donate to people, or you know what I mean, or other people are gonna get it, it's sometimes you don't have to do it in order to help it. You can donate to people.
Yes.
And I think it's more offensive. Me having a mustache is not good for anybody. Except for unless I could really grow it out and I was on a police show. If you want to put me on a police show, I will grow a mustache just for you. That's my.
I'm sure that they would be more than happy to provide you with one that would suit your face,
and it would look
actually look realer than you growing one.
It's a better idea doing that.
I think that's probably the best idea possible.
But yeah, so me with a mustache. Are you gonna be doing Movember?
I did. I started last year, and I'm now growing this so that by the time November hits, it will be a significant change for me to shave off everything and regrow it.
So the question is, because some people, there's a debate over what's legal in this terminology of the month. Do you shave the whole face, or do you just shave everything?
No. Those who keep their mustache and just keep the mustache is cheating. You have to go from scratch and grow a mustache in November.
Okay. And that's where the fear of mine is. I would have to grow a beard and then a week before.
No. You basically just start now, and then by the time November hits, it'll start to look like you've started to grow one, after.
It's day one. You're like, it's been 2 weeks.
Yeah, but at least you've got something to show. I could grow one, but if I shave off everything,
they'll really see.
It'll take about a week before.
But you're part of that journey of from day one.
But the benefit is, technically, if I so chose, I could grow my hair out, and so it doesn't look too bad before it really starts to come in, and then shave down to the mustache that I want. Because then at that point it doesn't matter. There's not enough hair growth to differentiate between the cheeks and the mustache.
In defense, though,
but I will go handlebars. I like the handlebar look.
I like that too. I think you should always do handlebar.
Because then I can I'm mean looking and go, look at mean people.
But then give people compliments. I think that's great. You're like, you look mean, and then you're like, you look beautiful today.
That's right. You look gorgeous. You're amazing today.
I feel like you're nice, but not scary.
I'm pooing.
He is. I can smell it. But technically you can say it's cheating, but at the same time, the people who are doing that and they still don't getting money, I guess technically it's all for good cause, so you can't really be too mad at them,
Well, I mean, it is Movember is the equivalent of, Breast Cancer Month, right? It's October is Breast Cancer Month. So if you watch any NFL games, all the teams have pink on and so on.
I was actually telling my mom and some people on Facebook,
And it's a great cause, but again, strangely enough, probably not the most appropriate place because it doesn't matter. It's great that they're supporting the cause, but Movember is probably more appropriate for men to be supporting, prostate cancer. And all cancer is bad.
Yeah.
So they should be doing both. But what color do you represent prostate cancer with?
I'm not going to answer that. It's the obvious answer is
the obvious answer is once you change from pink to brown, I think you've gone too far.
Yeah. No, but what I was just trying to say a second ago is like you were saying NFL, but another cool thing, the wrestling WWE, they're doing a thing.
You were going to say the F, weren't you?
Yeah, I was.
You were about to get us a lawsuit from animals.
Yeah, not but they what they did is they have the 3 ropes. The middle rope is pink, but they're also I don't know if it's just their main wrestler John Cena or everyone, but for the month of October, all the profits of his shirts, because it says Rise Above Cancer, it's pink and all that, and there's like armbands and stuff like that. All the
and it's got like the different colors he wears.
Yeah, and it's like it's got the symbol. It's like never give up, stuff like that. It's really cool.
I could have seen
all the profits are.
I could have seen Ultimate Warrior doing that years ago.
But he's also crazy.
Like he's a crazy person. But had he been
pink, he's all pink.
Yeah, like pink tassels or whatever, and then you give out those to the fans, and they're like, these are for cancer.
No, but the thing with this, like they're selling it, and like for the month of October, it's 100% of the profits, and then I think it goes down a bit, but it's cool that
at any point, even if they're available after October,
I think there's
some proceeds go to cancer research.
I think it's a little less, but like for the month of October,
it's all cancer research. That's good.
And for most
it's not like they don't make enough money elsewhere. So those proceeds.
And they don't have to do this, and it's just like apparently like their viewership, like surprisingly,
they're a company that large, they need to give some money.
Yeah, I know. It's like
they have to do
like
this.
Surprising enough, I think 40% of their viewers are female, so it's cool to say like this is a great.
That I find impressive.
No, it is. It's or they're making up the stat just to sound impressive, but like. If you're trying to make a difference, like even if it's a month of the year, that's still like it's like if you didn't do that, that's $0 going. So it's just like, and shirts are most popular when they first come out. So
right.
So like the month that they release them is when they do it. That's when they're gonna make the most money. So like good for them. And it's just like so October is breast cancer awareness, and then you got prostate.
Then you get Movember.
Yeah.
People to bring out your Mo.
So, and so it's like it's cool that like whenever.
Yeah, so I will participate. I'm actually touring because last year we did it for my office.
Yeah.
And we did a team, and so we had a few people that were. So the funds we raised, of course, there's individual goals, but then there's also the team goal.
Yeah.
But then my son's public school also wants the dads of Summit. They want them to put their names in there. I'm like, but I don't want to help the school. I want to help the office because usually I'll be on top of the office.
Yeah.
Although maybe not.
Do you think that any of the candidates running for president or vice president should, for the week that they have left in the campaign, do Movember?
I think
they obviously won't, but
I don't think it's worth it if it's only for 1 week of campaigning.
Do you think if one side
you start promoting it at that point?
Yeah,
I think it's pathetic.
Yeah,
and to just stop at the end of the week. But if they're going to do it anyway, and just say, hey, this, win or lose.
I will continue this for the month.
Follow them doing Movember, then that's significant.
Yeah, I think the only way they would do it is if their campaigns starts to dwindle one side, then one of them be like, just do it.
Go for the cancer vote. Go for the cancer vote.
I feel like we should get out of this segue out of this.
I don't think that's rude at all. I think that's just as bad as going for any of the votes. I'm going to the Latino vote because my dad was born in Mexico. Not by Mexicans, but born there.
And he left right after.
And I'm...
Yeah, but it's good to see a good
cancer vote.
It's good to see like foundations or companies or sports stuff that you wouldn't think would, and like to see the pink ribbon or whatever. It's cool, no matter what.
I agree.
It's great.
Any support is amazing support.
Yeah.
So any money going to that cause. I mean, I have family who have passed away from it and have significant belief in supporting those causes, no matter how many jokes come out of it.
Yeah,
so that's true.
So do we want to take a quick break?
Let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
We will be. Maybe Ryan.
Maybe Lindsay.
So we're back. Thank you for sticking around, Ryan.
Yeah, thanks for forcing me to come here. I actually am chained to the desk right now. Thank you. I'm
ching, ching. That's the sound of it. So next month is November, and there's a kind of exciting thing coming up in November that I've been waiting for the last year.
The election?
Well, we already talked about the election, and cool, good for them. And I remember people months ago, I do believe Obama and them are going to pull it out and win. I do think that.
Well, I hope so. I really hope so.
But yeah, I'm not trying to say views. I'm just months ago, and I still believe this. Just like it's going to be closer than I think, but it won't. That's a weird thing to say. I think Obama and Biden are going to win. But more importantly, the day after the election, there's a little guy returning that it was a hero of mine called James Bond.
Skyfall's
coming.
The new Bond film.
It looks pretty cool, I have to say.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I've got a bit of a man crush on Daniel Craig.
D. Craig, yeah.
Yeah, D. Craig.
I was one of my Twitter jokes is
those piercing eyes, just
those piercing blue eyes.
I can stare into him longingly for many, many hours.
My joke on Twitter was I really should have turned down that movie. Daniel Craig is thanking me. So you're welcome, Daniel Craig.
He was going to be the next Bond. It's true. I was helping negotiate it, and it turned out we weren't even in the running. They were just.
But so
I wasn't even talking with the right people.
Yeah.
But some guy just called me and said, "Hey, I want Lindsay Lewis to be Bond." I'm like, "Yeah, that's great."
It turned out it was a madman.
It turns out it was not the right show at all.
It was just people. It was
not nice. We were taken along for a ride,
but we still made it sound like I turned it down.
That's right.
We're like, yes, we convinced you, Daniel Craig. You can still pay me money as thank you. But yeah, no, Skyfall.
I'm excited. I'm excited because obviously MGM had their own issues about getting this film out, and it took a long time to get this film out and then get made in the Broccoli. I'm fine. I'm ready. I'm ready for that next film.
Yeah, and because the thing is, the movie, because Casino Royale was a new one in the series of Daniel Craig.
Sure.
It got a good response. It was pretty cool. It's action packed.
It was a rebirth without having to be a rebirth.
Yeah.
Because I think
it's the life source they needed just to they needed a new surge of energy.
Sure, and what's best is that they're not trying to remake old ones. They are moving on to new ones. Although it's funny, it's I remember that when Quantum of Solace came out, a lot of people were like, "I don't recognize that." It turns out Quantum of Solace is the title of one of the Bond shorts inside one of the Bond
I didn't know that, actually.
I was looking for it to see if Skyfall fell into the same category or whether it was an original story, and I think it's an original story.
But when they were shooting the movie Quantum of Solace, it was called Bond 22. They didn't know actually what to call it.
They weren't sure what to call it.
So I think they found it, but I think all around the board, a lot of the opinion is it's not one of the better Bonds, but also it was, and that's what I was going to get excitement of Skyfall.
But at least the title was based on a Fleming book.
Yes, which is
Fleming's story in particular. That was a Bond story within the Bond books.
Yeah,
it might not have been the title of the book, but it was a short story in the book.
But the also
I just don't remember which one.
Check it out. Let us know. Tweet us him. Right there, but it was during the writer's strike, the Quantum of Solace, and I think they quietly admitted it now, or at least Daniel Craig came out saying, it wasn't but they had to make it, and so they were writing scenes there. He's not the writer of it, but he's having come up with stuff. But so I think the excitement of this one, because it just it was a direct sequel from Casino Royale Quantum, and so now they've had a little bit of time, and you got a pretty cool director involved, and you got a cool villain, and. They have I recently heard it. They have it sounds like a cool Adele song. So I guess.
And that's the theme for Adele's doing the.
It's called Skyfall. Have you heard it?
I haven't heard it yet.
It's kind of that classic Bond feel again, because I did Chris Cornell's theme from Casino Royale, but it has a classic feel and all that. And I guess the cool question, maybe I'd ask people or yourself is,
what's my favorite Bond theme?
What's your favorite James Bond theme? Obviously, it can't be Adele right now because you didn't hear it. So.
No, I haven't heard it. It's not Adele. I'm sorry. I really am sorry. But
you
maybe
might like it. It might change on
once
November.
I hear it.
Yes. Do you think you'll wait till you see it in theaters at this point? You're so close.
I will see it in theaters. There's no question.
No, but will you wait to hear the song in theaters just the first
to make
time?
that opinion?
Yeah.
No, I'll tell you what my favorite Bond theme is.
No, I meant the Adele song. Do you think you'll listen to it before you go into the theater? Or
I might hear it beforehand just by coincidence.
Yeah.
I'm not going to seek it out.
Okay.
But if it falls in my lap, I will listen to it.
If you like it, let us know. If you hate it, not. But, so James Bond. Favorite, and then we're going to talk about least favorite, but let's start with the good.
View to Kill.
Dancing to the fire.
Duran Duran. I was a huge Duran Duran fan as it was. Followed by Octopussy's theme.
Yes.
But
that's my favorite Bond movie, actually.
Octopussy? Yeah. Mine is Her Majesty's Secret Service. I am a George Lazenby fan. One of the few. I love you, George.
He loves himself too. as evident. No, I don't know what that means. No, but yeah, no, that one's a pretty popular one. It just like
it is. It's a great story. It's fun, and it has yeah, it's got some cheesy elements, but they all have elements.
They do. They all
do. I mean, it just
cheesy.
People loved Connery and Moore so much. Lazenby was and he only did the one movie, right? So it's like I mean, mind you, I don't even think he gets ratted on as much as Timothy Dalton, and I think Timothy Dalton got a bad egg because he was in what I think are actually terrifically written stories, like License to Kill and what was the other one?
Living Daylights.
Those are good. They're good Bond movies.
Yeah,
they're good stories. They're good. He just might have not been the right Bond.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean that he was a bad Bond. He just might not have been the right one for those stories, but they were good stories.
Living Daylight's one of the few I actually haven't really seen, and I realized that because I was going over because I was going, which one is the best Bond theme?
Right.
And I was going through all these songs, and I listened to it and go like, this is an awesome song. I've listened to it in the last few days 40 times.
Which one?
The Living Daylights.
Yeah.
But it's like, the Living Daylights.
Well, because it's their sound, right? And all of the ones that were done in the 80s.
It's cool because the 80s, but it still has a Bond feel to it.
That's
which
right.
is cool. Because some of them, you're not sure, you know what I mean? Because I think with the Madonna song,
right,
it's kind of it's just a Madonna song. It doesn't
it doesn't do anything for me either. Living Daylights is my favorite. I was a Roger Moore fan too.
Yeah. So you said A View to a Kill was your favorite song?
For the same favorite song.
But Daylights and Majesty's Secret Service are your favorite movies?
Her Majesty's Secret Service is my favorite Bond movie.
Yes.
Hands down. Although Daniel Craig is creeping up to being my favorite Bond.
Okay.
Just by his... It is the direction that they've chosen to go in, but his just pure manliness about him, he still can pull off the suit with it's not just ruggedness because if you take in Casino Royale when he's chasing, you've got the guy doing all of that leaps and bounds and he's just chasing after
parkour.
Yeah, doing the parkour and he's going through the construction site and he goes through a window and Craig just goes through the drywall, he just goes through the wall this powerful.
Honestly, that the first hour of that movie is just it's so nonstop adrenaline. You're even rewatching. You're it feels like it
you can rewatch it and be dumbfounded again and again.
Yeah,
it really is incredible. And none of the other Bonds were able to pull off that feel, even if it was a stunt double. It doesn't matter. It was just the look and feel of the character, and that's what really draws you in. Of course,
but, times changing. You get a different thing. There's still action in every movie.
Moore was the gentleman. Connery had
Roger Moore is James Bond in my opinion.
Sure, and because he was when you were born, and
also the first one I saw was Octopussy, and that's my favorite one. So I think that's a little bit to do with it. But I think they all have something cool. So just I think they've all Pierce Brosnan. They all have a cool essence to them.
They all have.
I think Timothy Dalton's I think you're saying I think he's the one I see as the least
the weakest link,
but still he's okay.
Yeah, he's still okay.
Yeah, but out of all of them, but okay as your worst is still pretty good.
I mean, he is in one of my favorite movies of all time, and the reason I'm a Jets fan.
He's in
Flash Gordon.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Timothy Dalton. You surprise me every time.
Yeah, he just shows up when you least expect him.
The Living Daylight. Oh, sorry, the Living Dalton. He's I'm still alive. Right?
I'm still here.
Yeah. So A View to a Kill.
Actually, you know what? I will tell you that one of my favorite things Timothy Dalton does is his voice work in Toy Story 3.
Wait, who was he in 3?
He's the porcupine.
Yeah,
he is an actor.
Was he? No, that's not the squeaky.
No. He's one of the little girl's dolls. When Woody gets.
But he's an actor, or he's
he's the actor amongst.
He was very.
He has some of the best lines in that movie. Yeah. It's hands down, and when my son's watching it, or even when my whatever it does, I can watch that again and again because of the performances. And of course, those movies are made for parents to want to watch them too. But he is so good in that. His dialogue is great.
He's fun.
So Dalton, we might not think
Dalton
so
McGinty,
highly of you for Bond. But I definitely think high things about you as a performer in general.
My favorite Bond, I was thinking about it, and there's a few that are at the top, and one of my favorites is actually A View to a Kill.
Yep.
Dance into the fire.
Well, you can't go wrong with Duran Duran. I don't believe you can go wrong with Duran Duran.
Is a view to a kill. But no, mine actually is. It's surprising. It's one of the newer ones. It's The World Is Not Enough by Garbage. Because it's just it's just like
It's a decent theme.
it's my favorite. I hope it's more indecent, but it just has this like cool sound to it, and it feels right for like it's like almost better than the movie, but just like it has just like it's just a beautiful like kind of epic Bond song. I just got the sound that I just like. Like I don't like. I don't
you
agree.
think that if they're going to write a song for a Bond movie, it's got to feel like a Bond song,
and
right?
you kind of
And some have hit the, they've missed the mark because they wanted to modernize Bond.
Yeah.
And so any of the ones out, I mean, it really is from Brosnan on, they wanted to really experiment, right? So
yeah. There's one big one and one or two big ones in there that
where they've just like completely fallen flat and they've been called out on it.
Yeah,
including the Madonna song, which I just don't feel is.
I there's two that I hear like they get most razzed on, and they like I don't actually like when we're asking about the worst two.
Yeah.
Or the worst one, I can't like pick which one because they're both kind of like
they're equally as bad. So
even as songs they're okay, but for Bond movie songs I don't think they work. And one is Die Another Day, and the other one is I believe is the one from Quantum Solace is Another Way to Die by Jack White and Alicia Keys.
I don't remember,
it's just like,
but yeah.
It's very...
Maybe that's why.
But
I don't remember it. It didn't stand out.
At the same time, the movie Quantum of Solace itself was kind of that feeling too, so maybe it was perfect for it.
Maybe.
But those are the two. But yeah, no, The World Is Not Enough just has like... Her vocals are great, but like even like songs like Tomorrow Never Dies, this is when you re-listen to it, it's actually a really nice song.
Yeah.
The Chris Cornell one, I love that track. It's like for the new it summed up the new thing of what they're going for in the Casino Royale, and it was like almost the perfect song to go with. Like it's like You Know My Name, it's Bond saying You Know My Name, and like it's like this heavy action like song, and like it was cool. But yeah, so is there a James Bond song that you just like this song again? Do you ever feel that?
No, I don't. I mean, like I'm only going to listen to the ones that I want to listen to. So really, there's none that really like bring me down or anything. It's just
you know you're about to see Bond if you hear them. Probably.
That's right.
So yeah, so like those are pretty good. Like some of like but yeah, like it's.
But I am excited for this movie. It's been way too long, and I need Bond.
You need Daniel Craig. You just miss Daniel Craig.
And of course, there's the 50th anniversary. I mean, it's the 50th anniversary of Bond, and they're having at the Bell Lightbox.
My birthday, the day before my birthday, it opens at the Lightbox. Is like they're
having this specialty. It's 50 years of Bond and design.
Yeah, and
that's amazing.
I'm excited to see that. Actually,
yeah.
I rarely go to art exhibits and all that, but I'm like actually. It's really exciting to.
You know what? I take it back. I do have a second favorite, and that's
that?
Live and Let Die. A little bit of Wings.
It's that one like that's the one Bond song you could like. I think people
it brings up the pop because but I mean it didn't have the same feel as like the old what's her name Bassey songs from
Shirley Bassey?
Shirley Bassey songs from all of the original ones.
Yeah.
But I mean, Paul McCartney's Paul McCartney, right? So you still get that feel, and I like the movie too because it's got Yaphet Kotto in it, and it's Roger Moore, and it's.
I think what I was trying to say is that song I feel is the one that people could hear and maybe not think Bond because it's a very popular song.
Well, it's a pop song. You can.
Yeah.
I mean, well, of course, it was re-brought out. Yeah, well, when Guns N' Roses brought it back as well on User. Was it Use Your Illusions?
I don't.
I remember Guns N' Roses did their cover of it, and of course it brought it right back to the mainstream because it was on the airwaves again, over and over again. But with Slash.
Yeah, I never caught that one, but yeah, no, it's still a great song and it's a good Bond song.
Junior high for me. I think he was in daycare.
I was running daycare. Yeah, but like there's just something I like the idea that each movie they get one song to try to sum up this movie, and it's kind of a cool task. And just like imagine you got that task, like you're like sum up this movie, and you're gonna have a lot of pressure from people. Do you make it rock? Do you make it like kind of like jazzy or whatever? So it's like it's cool, and it's cool that they went back to the old school.
Yep.
And who's to say they may go rock again? But it's like it made me excited to see the movie again. Just having a cool song. Daniel Craig's cool. They got a cool villain in Javier Bardem. It's gonna be. I think
it's gonna be a hit. I mean, I think people have been waiting so long. It's gonna be a hit anyway.
Yeah. No, I think money wise, it's gonna do great.
Yeah, money wise, it's not gonna have any issues. But I think. We'll see. I mean, usually even by
our next podcast, we may have us going like
completely
the
different
worst movie
conversation ever.
Like, I hate Skyfall, Daniel Craig, go away. But I
can't wait for Star Trek 2.
Yeah. Isn't it Into Darkness the title?
I think so.
It's not the greatest.
Not the greatest title, but
could be worse.
I bet it'll be a great movie because the first of the regeneration
reboot.
We'll talk about that on the next time.
Yes. So
why don't we end with that? I think that's a good place to end.
And I guess if you're still in October, watch the movie Hocus Pocus or Ernest Scared Stupid.
Or The Witches of Eastwick.
Didn't like that.
Oh, I'm a fan.
I saw like 5 minutes.
I still won't eat cherries because of it.
There's something involving cherries.
There is something involving cherries.
Don't tell me or us
because if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. I won't touch cherries anymore. Thank you, Jack Nicholson.
Jackie Boy's in it. So on behalf of I don't know when we'll be back next. We might have we get to find out who the president is.
Yeah, there might be a new president by the next time we talk, or it'll be next week.
Yeah, and if so, then we should probably edit this part out. But there is nothing to delete.
There's nothing to actually do. I'm Ryan Goldhart.
I'm Lindsay, and tell your family you love them whenever you get a chance, and do something wonderful whenever day this is. Have fun.
Wipe someone's ass.
Or just go outside and take a nice stroll. Thank you, Ryan, for coming.
Thank you, Lindsay, for coming.
Yes. Goodbye, folks. Thank you for coming. And get out now, because we gotta...
I don't even know why we're still talking. I'm leaving.
He's got a phone call.
And it's... Goodbye.
He's not gonna be back next time. See you guys.
In today's world, people are busy and impatient. We are on information overload. Every minute counts. People want to know what you can do for them. They won't spend time reading or searching, but they will watch a video. If it clearly explains who you are and what you do and tells them what they want to hear, they will reach out to you. You have seconds to get people's attention. You want a video that is engaging and makes the viewer feel as though it is speaking directly to their needs. Add to your sales team a short video and let it do the heavy selling for you. Or add to your social media or wherever your audience is spending their time. Videos can pay back your investment 10 times over. So now that you've heard our message, let's talk about yours. Let's bring your image to life.